Okay, so this is my media literacy vlog for week number 1. We had read through chapter 1, and I'm going to tell you some of the things that stood out to me and things that are interesting that I discovered while reading through the chapter. To go ahead and get started with the first kind of fact, I guess, is that we as humans, as a human population, spend 12 hours a day consuming media. And that is insane to me because I knew that I spent a lot of time on social media, but I wasn't comprehending personally exactly what types of media there was, like the radio, street signs, billboards, advertisements. I never knew any of that classified as media, even though it was like printed media. I thought we were discussing more like TV, newspaper, social media type of stuff. And when I heard that, or even read that in the chapter, it was really honestly mind-boggling because I didn't think it was possible to consume that much media in a day, nor did I think that it was everybody. I thought that there's people that are the people that stay off social media and spend like 2 hours a day on media, and then there's people that spend hours a day on media like me, but I never ever knew that that was accounted for all types of media, if that makes any sense. The next thing, or a quote that stood out to me, I'm going to read it just because, it says, "We consume media content to fuel our minds, attitudes, and actions, and also for entertainment and distraction." And that's on page 17 of the book. It's so true. And honestly, I feel like that's more leaned towards like social media and even like the radio and movies and TV almost, rather than like printed media, which I guess you could count as like books or magazines. But it's true nowadays, especially in 2021, we turn to like TikTok as a distraction, or we scroll on Instagram for hours as a distraction. We scroll through our Facebook feed as a distraction to escape from the real world, which is a natural thing for humans to do, which is crazy because you think that a break from life would be going outdoors and like going to be adventurous, but it's not. It's actually looking at what other people do in their social media, which is crazy, which I thought was a pretty interesting fact. The fact that it can fuel our mind, it says here, it can fuel our minds, attitudes, and actions, and I truly think that this is so true. I heard one time that there was that if you listen to really sad music all the time, then your mood will start to go down. But if you listen to really happy music all the time, then you're fueling your mind to think that you're happy, and vice versa, which I think is true with social media as well. If you're constantly looking at things that are negative in the media, which is often a lot of things, especially in the news, then you're going to constantly have this like cloud over your head. Whereas if you're looking for like more mindfulness stuff and you're limiting your media, then you might come off as happier. And that's just my theory, and something that I need to be better at personally. The next things that kind of stood up to me towards the end of the chapter were the questions at the end, when it discussed patterns in media consumption, and if you do them more with friends, if you do them more alone, where do you do media, stuff like that. I noticed that my first consumption of media in the day is right when I wake up. I just feel like I need to see like what's been going on in the world while I was asleep. Or honestly, even like right now when I was trying to read this assignment, I would get distracted on TikTok, because I get honestly bored, and I need stuff to like fuel my mind, which makes so much sense now that I'm read through the chapter. And that's kind of like my pattern. My personal patterns is like in the morning when I wake up, if I have a free spare time sitting in the cafeteria in between classes, whenever I can consume social media is when I will, and that's kind of bad. But anyways, that's the patterns that I notice within myself. And then at nighttime, right before I go to bed, which I heard is not good for you, but and then the media diet, which I thought was pretty cool too, or pretty interesting too, like what types of media you're consuming and how you're limiting your media and things like that. So yeah, those are just some of the things that stood out to me in this chapter. I'm really excited to get started with media literacy because I didn't know it could be so broad. I thought it was just one thing and learning about media, and I feel like after this class, I'm going to have such a better understanding of what it is. And yeah.